Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. And our first one comes from Illegally Blonde. Am I the beehole for hanging up on my girlfriend after discovering her mom was spying during our personal conversations? I, an 18-year-old male, have been dating my girlfriend, a 17-year-old female, for about 7 months. Tonight, her and I had a deep conversation about some relationship hiccups, and I shared personal family struggles I typically only discussed with my therapist. As we finally got to a place we felt comfortable leaving things, I heard whispering in the background. When I asked my girlfriend about it, she admittedly denied anyone else was being there. However, as I continued asking, she started to cry. Just then, her mom pretended to come in the room and scold her for being up to try and cover up the fact that she's been sitting there for an hour. Turns out, her mom has been sneakily listening into most of our serious conversations or arguments we've ever had. I felt absolutely betrayed and hung up immediately. Since then, both my girlfriend and her mom have been apologizing and trying to shift the blame onto me. This violation of privacy has left me feeling super violated and unsure about how to handle the situation. I do feel bad for hanging up so abruptly, but I just didn't know how to process what was going on. Am I the beehole for hanging up on my girlfriend after discovering her mom was spying during our personal conversations? Any guidance on navigating this situation would be greatly appreciated. Edit. I woke up an hour ago and watched all the comments come in while eating a whole arse margarita pizza. Thank you for all your advice and options. To provide more context, throughout our relationship, my girlfriend has often joked about how her mom can get any information from her. However, I've witnessed this firsthand how truly this is lately. I've also noticed that my girlfriend doesn't respect privacy, claiming she needs a confidant. Because my situations are too much for her mentally, but then her mom knows everything I share in confidence. I also have tried not talking to her, but she pushes every time. Because of this, I've become extremely cautious about sharing personal details. They are both very religious, and while I share the same beliefs, it's been a contentious issue in our relationship. Her mom has used religion to justify intruding on my personal life, citing the need to guide me if I am sinning. My own family life has been challenging. I had to move out at 18 to escape. I talked to my own mother about all of this, and her response was to say that it's not the worst thing, and I was overreacting, which is why I felt like posting. Her mom has expressed that she sees me as a part of her family, which has led to her trying to control various aspects of my life, like dictating when I can drink coffee or imposing a bedtime. She's also shared my private struggles with her pastor and best friend, who have tried to intervene and fix me. I deeply care for my partner, but I can't envision a future where her mother's involvement is so intense in our lives. I plan to talk to her about this tonight, and will update you all afterwards. Update. She just called me at work. She started the conversation by saying she thinks we should probably break up, because she can't do it anymore. I'll be honest, I snorted, and asked why, and I respond by asking her if it was because she was scared to talk to me face to face, or if it was because she didn't want to deal with the fact that she screwed up and hurt me. She said it was because I say everything is her fault. For context, I know I have a lot of problems because of a really hard home life and upbringing, and I acknowledge when I make mistakes. Last night was mostly me having to apologize and explain myself over and over, but this time I flat out told her this is 1000% her and her mother's fault. Then I had to go because I'm at work and people needed help. Then I got the text saying things like, I guess this is all my fault, and I deserve to sit in my consequences, apparently. She wants me to come to her house after work and sort things out. I think I'm gonna see if we can meet alone in a public place to ensure privacy. I'll update after that. Well, I looked around and I'm not seeing any update, so I'm gonna talk on what I've, read right now. OP, you are not the beehole. You were violated. Your trust and your privacy were violated by your girlfriend's nosy mother. I don't know how she looks, but I've met people like her, so I have a picture painted in my head on how she looks, and it ain't pretty. Personally, OP, them trying to put the blame on you is disgusting. And if I were you, if I were in your shoes, you're a young OP, I would just be done with her. Personally, I wouldn't even meet up with her. It doesn't sound like she has your back. Sounds like she's allegiant to your mother. I mean, not your mother, her mother. And doesn't really care about you. She's willing to break up, that fast. I assume the mother's telling her to break up. OP, you're young. You're 18. You have tons of time to go out there and find a good woman who will have your back and won't betray you, and will actually have a good family that you can get along with and enjoy to spend time with. And when I mean, be done with her, be done with her. I wouldn't even go meet up with her. Even if you can get her into a place that's not her, well, do not go alone to her home, which it sounds like you're not doing. But even if you can get her out there, I don't think anything's going to change. She's probably going to still make a scene, still put the blame on you and try to, mess with your mind and make you seem like you're the bad guy. So be done with it. You have your whole life ahead of you. There are more women out there, as they say, more fish in the sea. That's my advice to you, OP. Just be done with it, man. It's not worth it. You're young. You got time. Our next one comes from Unlikely Major 9996. Am I the beehole for not visiting my sister-in-law and her new baby because I'm angry at her? I really need an unbiased opinion here, as I'm really angry at the situation and don't know if I'm genuinely being unreasonable. I, female, age 33, am a single mom to my daughter, Ellie, age 15. I've got a brother, male, 29, who's been married for a year. His wife, being Hannah, female, age 28, they've been together for a total of 3 years. A couple weeks ago, Hannah has given birth to her first child together. She welcomed visitors, but I have no intention of visiting her and their baby because I'm angry at her. I'm angry because a month ago, Hannah and my brother stayed at my place temporarily for a week. They were between rent leases and didn't have anywhere else to go in the meantime. I wasn't enthusiastic about them staying as my relationship with my brother has been complicated, but I wanted to help them out. On the day they arrived, and on the day they left, Hannah screamed at my daughter and berated her for very petty things. The first was Ellie helped them bring in their stuff to the house. She left the pack of their soda bottles on the kitchen counter. They ended up being forgotten about until sort of dinner time, and Hannah got all riled up because they weren't in the fridge, and warm soda makes her feel sick. She did say sorry to Ellie afterwards, but that didn't seem genuine, and she just blamed it on her hormones. The second time happened when I was at work. Ellie had eaten some fruit roll-up snacks that were in the kitchen, which I do sometimes buy for her. Those ones actually belonged to Hannah, which my daughter didn't realize, and she screamed at Ellie and made her cry, telling her she's useless and stupid. My brother tried to calm Hannah down and drove her to the store to buy more of the snacks. However, Hannah never apologized for this and pretended as if nothing happened. I confronted Hannah about this, and she still hasn't apologized. She said that she's just very heavily pregnant and on edge, and implied that my daughter has no manners and should have asked before eating the snacks. Ellie is in the clingy teenager phase, so she tells me everything about how she feels about this. She doesn't want to visit Hannah and the new baby, and quite frankly, neither do I. I can't really look at Hannah quite the same. I'd never scream at someone's child the way she did. Even when I was pregnant, and especially for such small things, and I'm struggling to understand why she'd overact so much and be so mean-spirited towards my daughter. My brother has been asking why we haven't been over to visit, and I explained to him it's because I'm upset at his wife's actions. He says I'm overreacting and babying my daughter. Our parents got themselves involved and told me I'm being a jerk and hurting everyone's feelings. Am I the beehole? Hi, OP. I'm gonna say you're not the beehole. And I feel sorry for poor Ellie. I understand that that was her thing, but this is Ellie's home, and you buy those snacks for her, so of course she's gonna think, oh, mom bought me the snacks I usually get all the time. And I don't think hormones is an excuse to act like a ghoul. Now, maybe she was like that in the moment, but coming down, she should have realized that she's an adult, that's a child. You shouldn't have to scream and belittle a child, calling her stupid and useless. That's not normal discipline. That's being an evil person, and you want to hurt the person you're screaming at. And it also gets to me more. These people are guests in your house, and you were nice enough to open up your home to them for a week while they needed help. And like you said, you're not that hot with your brother right now, so he should be even more grateful that you did this. And of course he's going to stick up for his crappy wife's side. He's going to tell you, and he's telling you you're overreacting and babying Ellie. You're not babying Ellie. She was disrespected rudely by someone in her house. If this was a stranger yelling at her, I'm pretty sure that stranger would have gotten knocked out. OP, I'm surprised you didn't knock her out for disrespecting your daughter like that. In my family, we have a situation like this with my uncle, and he has a kid. I have never met that kid. Don't know how old he is. It's been years. Probably never gonna meet him. And OP, I'm fine. If I were you, I would keep doing what you're doing, and yeah, I wouldn't go. Screw him. Why would I want to go see that ghoul's child? And after she did she did horrible things to your child. Personally, I feel bad for their kid. Sounds like you're doing a pretty good job raising your child. She sounds like or normal kid. And also, shame on your parents for being this way. Like, have you told them what she did to their granddaughter? And if you did tell her that and they're still acting this way, I'd be done with them too. And our next one comes from Infinite Store 5035. Am I the beehole for having security remove my friend from the hotel room? To keep it very short, today is my birthday, and the last night after several small incidents with my friend who I had her removed from my hotel room after she refused to leave. It started out small. She would order the most expensive thing on the menu, and I snapped. She said if you can afford this expensive hotel and a new car, you could spare the extra $10. She has no money and no job. Next was her drinking out of my wine bottle. I had already told her before, do not put your mouth on my bottle because I don't know where your mouth has been. Then, for a second time, she did it again, with a brand new bottle, and she said she planned on drinking the whole thing, and it's not a big deal. I bought the bottle, and it was still half full. Following, we went downtown to a lounge and I wanted to go for my birthday. As soon as we walked in, while I was asking the bartender how this place operates, she cuts him off and tells me to let's go, we're leaving, very rudely, and storms out. I followed, not thinking. We had a chat outside, and I told her I wanted to go there, and she said we can't go back because of how she acted. After I decided to go back to the hotel, she asked to go to the gas station. I told her 3 times that day not to eat in my car, and she proceeded to open a paper bowl of boiled peanuts filled to the rim with liquid and asked me to drive slow so she can eat it. I cursed her out and made her put the lid back on. Pissed, I drove back to the hotel, grabbed my stuff, left her there to go out with my other friend to bring in my birthday, and had to turn her back around to grab a bottle of wine I left at the hotel. When I got back to the room, she locked the door, and I could see through the crack that she was standing at the door. I told her to remove the lock, and she kept saying no repeatedly. Then eventually, she unlocked the door. Once it was opened, I held it open and said she needed to get out, that I'm tired of the disrespect and she needed to go. She refused and said I needed to take her home or get her an Uber, and I said no. I threatened to call the police, and then she picked up the hotel phone and asked them to call for her. Security came up, and I told them my name is on the room and I want her out, so they removed her. Based off what she said, I'm the beehole for not taking her home, knowing she has no car, money, service, phone, many people to help her. With that being said, am I the beehole? Hi OP, first of all, you are not the beehole, and that friend of yours, that ain't a friend, over there wasting your money and maybe messing up your room, because it sounds, if you rented it, you're gonna have to pay for any damages or anything like that. And you're paying for everything, and she still has the audacity to take advantage of you like that when she has no money. And again, the audacity. She says that you need to get her an Uber because she has nothing going for her. No, she would have been kicked out if she was respectful and didn't, act like a friggin' goober the whole time while she's in your room that you paid for. Jeez, man. She's so entitled. And then, after, hope you have the patience of a saint, because I would have been done with her a long time ago. I have a short tolerance nowadays, and I would have gotten rid of her a lot sooner. But she's over there eating messy food in your car, your nice car? Shh. But then, when you threaten to kick her out, she calls down there to try to get you kicked out. Like, oh. OP, my advice, first of all, I'm glad you got rid of her. I hope you enjoyed what you had left of your birthday. And I'd be done with her. It sounds like there's no reason to hang out with this person. Sounds like she's just a leech and she's going to bleed you dry. OP, I would get rid of her and just find a new friend, because that person is dead weight. Let's end this with a kind of gross one. And our final one comes from wonderful repeat 850. Am I the beehole for embarrassing my brother-in-law by reprimanding my son for peeing all over the toilet? My family is over at my house for a get-together since we all went out separate ways for Thanksgiving. My sister's husband is a pig. He is overweight and perhaps cannot see his equipment and the toilet, so when he stands to urinate, it goes everywhere. Not great, but it would have been better if he at least cleaned it up after himself. Instead, he leaves the urine all over the seat, tank, and floor. At his house, my sister probably cleans up after him. I don't know, and I don't want to know. I was having a similar problem with my son until I had his father teach him how to stand and pee. And to clean up afterwards. My son still sits most of the time though, and if he does sprinkle a little, he cleans it up. I went to use the washroom, after my brother-in-law came out, and it was disgusting. I've talked to him and my sister about it before, and nothing has changed. Fine, new plan. I marched out of the bathroom and told my son, in a loud voice, that he had to go clean his pee up. Since he sprayed everywhere, and we have guests over, exactly like I expected, my son spoke up and said he hadn't used the bathroom, and that it was his uncle who just came out. Everyone went quiet. My brother-in-law went red, and my sister went into the bathroom to clean it. I apologized to my son for the mistake. Afterwards, my sister said I was a beehole to embarrass her and her husband like that. I said that if an adult cannot pee properly or clean up after themselves, perhaps they should be embarrassed. Now we are fighting, and she says I owe them an apology. Two questions. Do I owe them an apology, and am I the beehole? Hi OP, you are not the beehole. And yeah, I agree, a grown adult should be able to, make it in the toilet, and if they'd miss a little bit, clean up after themselves. Heck, your child is able to do that job, and he is a child. It just sounds like this dude is just a cliched fat slob, and your sister's enabling him. And if you're that obese, where you can't see your junk, and you can't aim, and you aim everywhere apparently, why are you hitting the tank of the toilet? You should lose the weight, man. That's too big. It's not good for you. And if you can't aim, sit down. Also, I believe you handled it well. At first, you handled it privately by asking them, to clean up after themselves. And when they disrespected you and didn't follow, what you told them, you went ahead and shamed them publicly. I bet they won't forget that, and I bet they will clean up after themselves. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.